Today we will discuss about Gauss law. So before starting Gauss law, we have to understand something which is necessary to understand before discussing Gauss law. First of all, we will discuss about area vector. Area, previously you have heard that area is a scalar quantity, but when you are dealing Gauss law, you have to understand that area is a vector quantity. And suppose this is some area, circular area or rectangular or any area, so the direction of the area vector is along the normal. So if it is a plane area, of course you can draw two normals, so there will be two direction of area vector. One, suppose I am drawing this normal in upward direction, so this will be also the direction, this will be also the direction. But if it is closed surface, suppose it is a sphere, closed surface, then in that case you have to take only the outward normal as the direction of area vector. Again I am repeating, if the area is plane, then there are two normals that can be drawn, so that one normal in upward direction, one normal in downward direction. So you can take two direction of area vector. If you are taking this direction as positive, so this direction will be taken as negative. But if the area vector is closed, then remember that you have to take the outward normal as the direction of area vector. Suppose this area has magnitude ds and normal is denoted by unit vector n cap. Normal is denoted by unit vector n cap. So all of we know that vector quantity is represented by magnitude into unit vector. So when you are representing any vector quantity, then you are requiring two things. First the magnitude and second is the direction. So what is the magnitude of area vector? All of you know, if it is circle, pi r square, if it is rectangle, L into B, if it is square, side square, that is the magnitude. So whenever it is in the question, if you have to find area vector, first find the magnitude and what is the direction of area vector, that is along the normal. If you are taking normal in this direction, we are talking of plane area, then that normal is taken as positive n cap. If you are taking in this direction, then that vector is represented by minus n cap. So the direction minus n cap denote that you are taking the opposite direction. But when we discuss about the closed surface area in Gauss law, then you have to take only one direction of vector, that is outward normal. So in this case also you have to write the area vector like this. Now second thing we have to discuss that let us revise some things which we have discussed in electric field lines first, then we will discuss about electric flux. All of you know that electric field lines, suppose this is electric field lines coming from some charge Q, positive charge outward electric field lines. So if I am asking that what will be the electric field at this point, what will be the strength of electric field at this point, then what you are doing, you are drawing some unit area and seeing how many electric field lines crossing that area. If you are drawing unit area at this point and suppose three field lines are crossing, if you are drawing the same unit area at this point, only one electric field lines is crossing. So we are telling that the strength of electric field is defined find by the number of field lines crossing the unit area. If the field lines are closer, then the electric field strength is more. If the field lines is far away, electric field strength is less. So when we are dealing with the electric field lines and strength of electric field, we require some area element. Now suppose I am saying that this is electric field lines coming from some charge or anything. So this flow of electric field lines decides the strength of electric field. Okay, if the area element which I am choosing to find the flow of electric field lines through that area, that also plays a important role to find about the flow of electric field lines. Suppose I am taking this area ds, only two electric field lines is crossing, the flow of electric field lines is less. If I am drawing some bigger area, the flow of electric field lines here is more. So this flow of electric field lines, flow of electric field lines is known as electric flux. Electric flux is denoted by the symbol phi. So this electric flux or the flow of electric field lines, you can see it depends on certain things. First, the electric field lines, that decides the electric field, and the area element which you are choosing to find the flow of electric field lines. Clear? So the flow of electric field lines is first the flow of electric field lines. Suppose here two field lines are there, so electric field is less, so flux will be also less. So electric field lines decide the electric field, and that decides the flux. Second, the area element which you are choosing, to find the field lines crossing the surface also decide the flux. Area is more which you are choosing, flux will be more. One more quantity is needed, is the angle between E and ds. Suppose here some area element is there, this is the normal, and the field lines crossing through this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 field lines are crossing through this in the normal to the this area vector, normal to the surface. If 4 field lines are crossing to this area element, suppose this is ds, in the direction of normal to the surface. Now what I am doing, I am tilting this surface area. 4 field lines are there, but I have changed the direction of area. Now the normal of this is in this direction, and these are the field lines. So you can see that now only 2 field lines are crossing through this surface area. So what is happening here? When I change the angle between the normal and the field lines, that is direction of electric field. Field lines denotes the direction of electric field if they are straight and parallel. So this is the direction of electric field. Here this is the direction of electric field. You can see when the normal to the surface area, that is direction of area vector, is in the direction of field lines or the electric field, then you can count more number of electric field lines are crossing through the surface, means flux is more. If the number of field lines crossing the surface area decreases, here you can see when I am changing the direction of area vector, now the normal is in this direction and electric field of course remain the same direction. So you can see only 2 electric field lines are crossing the surface area. Means if you are changing the angle between the electric field and normal, then the flux also changes. So we introduce one term cos theta. What is theta here? The angle between the electric field and the normal to the area, normal to the surface, that is direction of area vector. So you can see that the flux is given by, flux is proportional to these three things, that which area element you are taking, and what is the magnitude of electric field, and what is the angle between E and ds. You can write the same thing in vector form. Phi is equal to E dot ds. This electric flux is a scalar quantity. You have learnt in class 11 that the dot product of two vector is a scalar. From this formula also you can see the dimension or the unit I am finding. You can find dimension yourself. Electric what will is the unit of electric flux? SI unit. Electric field is force by charge, and area, ds is area. So force Newton, charge Coulomb, and area meter square. So this electric flux has unit Newton per Coulomb meter square. So first we have discussed the area, and we have discussed that area is considered here as a vector quantity. Second, we have discussed here electric flux, and that electric flux decides the flow of electric field lines through particular area, and that is given as dot product of electric field, that is decided by the electric field lines crossing the surface and the area element. Next we have to discuss one more thing, and that we are discussing in very short way, that is not generally asked in CBSE. That is about solid angle. Solid angle. Here we need a solid angle for the proof of Gauss law, that we will discuss here. Solid angle means I am making you to understand in a simple way. In class 10 you have read for plane angle that if this is the length of arc L, this is the radius, then the plane angle is given as L by R. This is about the plane angle, which you have learned in class 10, that this is equal to length of arc by radius. But if it is not plane, suppose I am drawing if this is the area element. All of you have seen the cone like structure when you are going for a market and taking some grams, or you can call in Hindi that Kabuli wala is there. You can find this cone type structure. This is actually the surface enclosed by all the four sides, and this is the area element. Suppose this area is ds, and this area normal is in this direction. So this surface area ds is subtending an angle here, and this angle is actually enclosed by a surface, not by a plane. It is enclosed by a surface. That is known as solid angle. Suppose this distance is r. So solid angle is denoted by this letter d phi, and it is ds by r square. When the ds and the normal both are in same direction, but if the area element is making some angle with the normal, then this same angle can be written as, suppose this is the surface area, and this is the normal direction, and this surface area is ds. So when surface area is making some angle with the normal, then we are taking not that surface area but the component of that in the normal direction. Means that area in which we are drawing the normal, it is in same direction, in the direction of normal. Here, so this area, if you are taking component in this in the direction of this area whose normal is in this direction, so d phi in that case is given by ds cos theta by r square. These two small concepts are there. You have to only remember that if the normal to the surface is in the direction of normal, then this solid angle is represented by ds by r square. If the area element making some angle, not 90 degree, but making some angle with the normal, then component of this whose normal is in the same direction of this normal, then the solid angle is represented by ds cos theta by r square. So all the things we have discussed which are required in the Gauss law. So we will start first the statement Gauss law. First, why we are using Gauss law and what is the purpose of using Gauss law? Gauss law is used to find the first electric field due to distribution of charge, and second the electric flux due to the charge enclosed by the surface area. Electric flux due to the charge enclosed, this you have to remember, charge enclosed. And this Gauss law is used to find the electric field due to distribution of charge. Sometimes in CBSE it is asked why Gauss law is used. So in this there are two different things. This electric field is due to all the charge, whether it is enclosed by the Gaussian surface or not, but this Gauss law is used to find the electric field due to only the charge which is enclosed inside the Gaussian surface. Clear? Gaussian surface we will discuss that one hypothetical surface, any closed surface which we will draw to enclose the charge due to which we have to find the flux. We will discuss that. First we are going to discuss Gauss law. So Gauss law is used to find the electric flux. Gauss law is used to find the electric flux, and that electric flux is given as E into ds. If it is a closed surface area, you have to draw this symbol that represent closed integral, means the integral over the closed surface. So Gauss law is the flux, this I am representing electric flux, and that is dot product of electric field and ds, and that is equal to the charge enclosed by epsilon naught. This is the formula. So Gauss law, what is Gauss law? You can see Gauss law gives the or Gauss theorem better to write, Gauss theorem gives the formula to find electric flux, and that is equal to closed integral of E ds, and that is equal to q by epsilon naught. So this is a very simple formula to calculate electric flux or electric field. By integrating this term, you can find the electric field. So what is Gauss law? Gauss law is the total electric flux through a closed surface is 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. Now there are various points which you have to remember while dealing with Gauss law. First, Gauss law is applicable only for the closed surface. When the charge which is producing the electric field and that ultimately producing the electric flux, when you are finding the electric flux, you have to draw one closed surface, and that closed surface will decide what will the electric flux. Second, this Q enclosed is the charge enclosed by the closed surface. If there is no charge enclosed by the closed surface, then the flux will be zero. For example, I am telling you, suppose I have any closed surface and there are two charge here, plus Q minus Q. You can say dipole. So what is the net charge enclosed? Net charge enclosed plus Q minus Q, that is zero. So what will the flux? Flux is net charge enclosed by epsilon naught, that is 0. So in Gauss law, this charge enclosed means the net charge enclosed, and if there is no net charge, flux is 0. Third, net flux through the closed surface due to charge lying outside the closed surface is 0. You can see, suppose I am drawing some closed surface. This is closed surface, and here it is any charge Q. Due to this charge, there will be no flux over this surface. The flux is only due to the charge inside the surface. That I am making to understand. Suppose this is producing electric field line. This is entering inside the field line, and this field line comes outside from this closed surface. You can see field lines entering the surface is equal to field lines coming out from the surface. If this I am taking field lines entering the surface as positive, this field lines coming out from the surface will be taken as negative. So the net field lines in crossing this surface area is 0. So there will be no contribution to the electric flux due to charge outside the closed surface. But if the charge is inside the closed surface, you can see the field lines is only crossing and it is going away from the surface. So this charge which is inside the surface will contribute to the flux, and this which is outside the surface will not contribute to the flux. Next, this electric field is due to all charge distribution, means it doesn't matter. Third point, that is fourth point, electric field is due to all charges, whether it is inside the surface or outside the surface. Here, this electric field is due to all the charges, whether it is inside, suppose Q1 is inside, Q2 is in. The electric field is due to all the charges, due to charges enclosed and due to outer charge also. But this charge is only due to which is inside the surface. And These are the things which is related with Gauss law. These are the important things which you must know about the Gauss law. So now we will discuss the proof for the Gauss law. First for the regular surface and then for any arbitrary surface. Proof. Suppose we have a sphere. This is sphere and I am taking very small element ds, this element, and drawing the normal. This small area element ds and the normal, suppose they are in same direction. Of course you can imagine this, that if it is a regular sphere and this is the center O, this is the radius r, then if you will draw normal, then the normal is the direction of area vector. So this area vector and normal are in same direction. Now what is Gauss law? Gauss law is integral of E dot ds, that represent the flux. We have to prove that this will be equal to q by epsilon naught. Suppose here is any charge due to which the electric field lines are coming out from in all the direction, and we are taking a very small element ds. We are dividing the whole area in small elements ds, ds, ds in this way, and ultimately all the surface of the sphere is divided into, suppose, small area. Now you can see due to this charge q at distance r, what will be the electric field? First we are splitting this. E dot ts, what is the angle between electric field and area vector? Electric field lines is in the direction of normal. You can draw the line, these are in same direction. So what is the angle? 0. So E dot cos 0, close integral. Cos 0 is 1, so it will be equal to E into ds. So due to this charge q at distance r, you have read about the point charge. The electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square into ds. This all are constant. Integration 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q r square, all constant. So you have to integrate only ds. Whole area of the sphere is divided into small area ds, ds, ds. If you will integrate all the integrate, or you can understand, if you add all small ds, 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 ultimately you get the surface area of this sphere. And all of you know that surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. So r square cancel, 4 pi cancel. So q by epsilon naught. So we have proved that flux is equal to E dot ds, and that is equal to q by epsilon naught. What is q? The charge enclosed. Second, this is the proof for regular surface. This is for regular surface. Now for irregular surface. Regular closed surface. If this charge is there, if you are enclosing by some Gaussian surface, there are rules to draw the Gaussian surface. The first rule, that we are generally choosing that surface as Gaussian surface which is symmetric, means all over the surface the electric field is same. So at the same distance r, if you are drawing any closed surface, you will get a sphere. That's why we have drawn here a sphere. So the electric field due to this charge at all distance r is this much. That's why we are taking the closed surface as a regular surface. Now if we are not taking closed surface, suppose we are taking irregular closed surface, result will be same. Here we will use the concept of solid angle. Suppose any charge is q and we have not taken a regular surface, we have taken irregular surface. Okay, take very small element ds. Now suppose the ds is ds normal is in this direction and the electric field due to this charge is in this direction, means E and here it is ds. It may be in same direction, but if it is not in same direction, that we are taking, that is more tough case, so we are taking that one. Suppose the angle is theta. Now the electric field lines, we are dividing the whole area into again small element ds, 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 and we ultimately add it. So the electric field and the area element is making angle theta. So now what is flux formula? Closed integral E dot ds. Now suppose this distance is r. So E ds, what is the angle? Theta. So you can write E ds cos theta. Now due to this charge, point charge q at distance r, what will be the electric field magnitude? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square ds cos theta. So what are constant? We have to take it out. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q. Don't take r as common, because suppose this distance is r, it may be this distance will be different, this distance will be different, this distance is different, because this is not a regular area. So r here is not a constant. So inside you will get ds cos theta by r square. So we have read that when ds is making some angle with electric field, this ds cos theta by r square is known as solid angle. So when you are writing this, solid angle is represented by d phi. And we have discussed that the solid angle, if you are this small solid angle is there, if you are drawing this is the small adding d phi. If you are go on adding solid angle, you will get 4 pi. This you have to understand. In plane angle you are getting, suppose this is a plane of paper, you are getting the total angle here if you are adding the small angles, and you are getting total angle as 2 pi. But in solid angle, that is a surface. So you can imagine the surface as the total angle if you are imagining, and that total angle enclosed by the surface is equal to 4 pi. So 4 pi cancel out. So q is left here. So it will be q by epsilon pi. So you can understand here that Gauss law is applicable both for the Gaussian surface which is regular and Gaussian surface which is irregular. But generally when we are solving the problem, we are drawing regular surface to make our calculation easy. But in this case, irregular surface, the calculation will be little lengthier. But when we are drawing Gaussian surface, you have to remember that